to be really brief. I have written testimony and I'm going to submit it.
Thank you very much.
But I do want to say just a couple of things. It was so interesting to hear General McLaughlin's testimony because he and I were on parallel tracks in the summer of 1997. I represented Jeremy Sharon as a member of the Public Defender's Office. I represented Richard Buchanan. And when General McLaughlin talked about having a picture of Elizabeth Knapp in his office, I have, from the time that I represented Richard Buchanan, had a picture of him in my office. And the reason that I did is because I have to tell you, Richard Buchanan did not get the representation that he deserved from his attorneys. I went into the Consupic apartment where Richard Buchanan lived with Ruth Knapp and Elizabeth Knapp. I saw that apartment. I saw the wall-to-wall clutter. I believe the police when they said that it would have been impossible for someone to enter that apartment without waking the people who lived in it. That it would have been impossible for an intruder to come in and rape and murder Elizabeth Knapp. And that it had to be Richard. It was the only possible explanation. All of that made sense to me based on what I saw in that apartment. I can't fault the police for the conclusions that they drew. I can't fault the prosecutors for the conclusions that they drew. But I can fault me because my job was to represent this union. And if I had to go to trial with him, I would have done the best that I could. I always did the best that I could, but I have no illusions about my own abilities. I was a competent, experienced defense attorney. I was a good defense attorney. People might even say I was very good, but I'm not great. And I would not have gotten Richard Buchanan off. He would have been found guilty, and if he had been charged with capital murder, he would have been sentenced to death. And with all due respect to my colleagues, I was a homicide prosecutor. I had great respect for my colleagues. But I knew my limitations as a prosecutor, and I know their limitations as prosecutors. And in terms of the Public Defender's Office and any defense counsel in the state, I have high regard for them and their abilities, but everyone is fallible. And I hope that you will pass this bill because there is a real risk. If you don't, at some point down the road, we will be faced with the potential execution of the receivers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you.